Hey everyone, welcome to the Discover Virginia podcast. I'm Joseph Trahan, your host for the #1 video podcast in Virginia, where we explore the rich history, vibrant culture, and iconic businesses that make our Commonwealth truly special and worth talking about. So get ready as together we discover Virginia. Our guest today has been making waves here in Virginia Beach, specifically for businesses looking to generate sales from online platforms like Instagram and targeted ads on the platform. For our business community, this episode is for you. Aiden, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, we are super excited to nerd out and dive in on all things marketing and social media. But before we do that, it's a running tradition on this show to figure out, what brought you to the Virginia Beach area. But most importantly, what got you to stick around and build your life and business here? What's your journey like for that, Aiden?
Yeah, so military, Navy, aviation electronics technician. So I came to the area, originally was working in Norfolk and then got transferred over to Virginia Beach. There's a lot of business going on here with 7 cities, huge metropolitan area. So just figured it'd be great to start a business here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are so appreciative for you to stay put. I know a lot of our military brothers and sisters come and stay for a little while and leave, but we're always excited if we can convince them to stick around. And, with a metropolitan area of over 2 million people, there's lots of opportunities for businesses to go around. So first off, I'd love to know what led you to pursue the contractor space and your content journey for, your specific offering versus any other industry like medical or restaurants.
Sure. So, when making videos, my creative side is always tapped in and contractors are always doing something cool. So whether that was a jackhammer, a hammer, or I can just fly these drones around their construction site showing heavy equipment going. It was just always cool to film it, and it was very valuable to them as well. So it's just been a cool journey starting with the contractors, and it was just awesome.
Yeah. And from what I understand, you've been making videos for quite a long time. Can you take us back to the first video you made? And was it for personal reasons or for business?
Yeah, first video I ever made, I actually very clearly remember this. We're reversing way back to when I was in middle school, riding around with my iPod Touch, filming video with me and my buddies, riding our bikes around, editing it on Windows Movie Maker. If anyone remembers that was a not very complex software. You just cut stuff up and exported it, edited a song in. But from there, it really just turned into YouTube channels all throughout middle school and high school with my buddies, Twitch streaming, TikToks. I've just been loving social media and videography since a young age.
Very cool. Is there a distinct memory for you when you went through that process of making videos from this is a hobby to, oh, hey, I can actually make money from this, or at least garner a lot of attention that could potentially be a business opportunity?
Absolutely. I remember it very clearly. I just got back from a 9-month deployment. I got back in October. So during that deployment, I bought a camera, Lumix G85, and I was like, I just want to record a command documentary. This was as a hobby still. I knew I wanted to start a business. I don't know why I didn't put the two together. I was sitting in South Korea, and I just realized, hey, why don't I just use the camera to make some money? So then it was, what problem am I going to solve? And it just snowballed from there.
Very interesting. And especially too, considering you're still currently active duty Navy and also, starting this business journey as well. But during that time of, being overseas, it sounds like you really, found your hobby and how it, could also generate business as well. I know you had mentioned your TikTok case study that you did more recently. Do you mind sharing a little bit more about what you discovered during that case study that ultimately led you to going full in on the Instagram portion of the business?
Sure. So in the span of 90 days, I created a TikTok that not only got over 10,000 followers, but also generated over 1.5 million views. This was back before deployment. I was going through schooling with my job, so I had a little more free time. And when I have free time and I get bored, I do productive things. So I started a power washing business because I had this power washer in my garage that I bought for a couple $100 and used it once. And so I just started knocking on people's doors, offering to power wash their siding and their concrete. And I started documenting the journey with TikTok, making a video every single day. That was the goal for 90 days, make a video every single day. 60 some days go by and it's like 200 views per video. Got like 100 followers, but I didn't give up. And it was probably about day 70, 80, like we're getting real close to the end here. Boom, wake up, crazy. Hundreds of followers. And it just exponentially grew. So I stopped making videos after that 90 days. But to this day, this is 3 years later now. 2 years later now, every single morning I wake up and there's still 10, 15 new followers, a couple hundred new likes. And it's crazy.
Wow, that's amazing. And, that formula, I think, definitely played a really crucial, moment for social media that I think other platforms kind of stole, with like Facebook and Instagram and now even LinkedIn taking the vertical format and really, building their entire platform around it, from a kid going, knocking on doors saying, hey, by the way, we're in the neighborhood here and I had this super cool discount for you, from $2.99 to now $2.49. Is this something you're interested in? Have you seen that? And that's kind of the format you followed, or a little bit more similar to at least documenting the journey piece?
Yeah. So the format I found worked really well is the hook was always, I started a blank business so you don't have to. So at first I did the power washing. My dad runs an auto detailing business, so I used him for some videos. Then I broke down the expenses of everything I used. Then I broke down how I found customers, how much I charged them, and how long it took. I replicated that multiple times. Top video did close to 1 million. It was about 800 some. And then most of the other videos did between 80,000 and 300,000 views.
Wow.
So I just replicated the same formula over and over once I found what worked, and it just raked in views.
That's so interesting too, because then a lot of times when we think of business, we think of something very personal to the business owner where they're like, hey, my system, my process, my team, I'm not going to share that. But your approach was kind of the opposite, where it's like, hey, here's my entire system. I'm going to record it. I'm going to document it. And I'm also going to tell you whether or not it was or was not successful. And I think for a lot of businesses too, social media can feel like this mystery bag because it's a new way of doing business. And in that you put some posts in, you put some videos in, and you get some random results out, right? And the dreaded TikTok 200 view cap, right? Can you walk us through the approach you found in helping businesses navigate social media as a whole?
Absolutely. It's different for every business because some business owners don't want anything to do with it. They don't even want to hear about it. They just want to see it. So I won't even send them the posts before they go up. Some businesses, they want to be in the process. They want to learn the process. So I have to go in with every single business owner with an open mindset, really, and just spend time getting to learn them and see where their interest level is and where their knowledge level is and how much they care about learning more about it, or do they want to fall in love with this? So it's just every person's a little bit different. I just have to take it person by person.
Yeah. I mean, social media in and of itself is such a personal way to market to people. I mean, gone are the days of, hey, there's this one billboard in town. Everybody fights for the highest price because that everybody in that town's going to drive by it. I mean, the average consumer is on their phone, around 2 to 3 hours a day, where they are just literally scrolling through thousands of billboards, digital billboards that they can see. For Instagram, you've really built out a case study that I want to dive into next, specifically for the construction and contract space. So for those listening, please check it out in the show notes. That's what I'll be referring to in this next section. And it's totally free, by the way. Aiden has generously provided that. So I highly encourage you to take advantage of it. Even if you're not in the what am I saying? In the contractor space or the construction space, because the principles still apply. So first off, what led you to pursue the contractor space specifically? And then what opportunities has that led you to kind of branch out into other areas as well? I know you had mentioned the higher ticket item prior. Were there any other, variables that led you to say, hey, this is where I want to, build my business?
I thought I needed to niche down by industry. I was wrong. I needed to niche down by skill set. My skill set is Instagram. I can do TikTok, I can do YouTube, but I focus mainly on Instagram. That's for other reasons we can dive into a little bit later. But at first it was, I need to choose an industry. I need to get good at this industry. I need to meet more people in this industry. And that was great for a while. That's why I wrote my case study for contractors, for construction businesses, lawn care, concrete, anyone who does that type of hands-on work, this will work for you.
Very interesting. So you almost took the approach. You sounds like you started your approach of industry first, but then you kind of said, "Hey, this isn't working. I need to go buy platform as opposed to industry."
Yeah, it wasn't that it wasn't working. It was working really well. But I was turning down opportunities to stick in my industry. And after a couple months, I was like, why am I turning down opportunities with other businesses? Um, and why not just niche in the platform?
Sure. So like people on Instagram within the industry itself were reaching out to you and you're like, "Hey, that's not really my thing because I'm doing this on TikTok and Instagram and other places as well."
See, I was still on Instagram mainly,
Yeah.
but it was just construction. So yeah, other people were reaching out to me, restaurant, um, just all different types of stuff. And
Yeah.
I was just like, I was messaging them like, hey, I'm focusing on this. I was referring them to other people. And I was like, after that happened a few times, I was like, why am I doing this? Why not learn more? I think part of it was I was scared to learn how to do a different industry.
Sure. So the industry specific on Instagram was something that a hurdle you had to get over as opposed to, just focusing on Instagram itself.
Absolutely. It was a mindset shift.
When was that aha moment too? Because I think in a lot of times in business, especially for business owners who are trying to tackle social media or like diving in that mystery bag, there's that moment that like the light bulb turns on. You're like, "Oh, there's light coming from this," but like, how does that work? So what was that aha moment for you?
The aha moment when I realized that I don't just have to stick to one industry was when I started marketing myself with ads, which is a completely different industry. And I saw how successful that was. And I realized that I can take this formula and apply it to anything and it's going to work. Because I'm in marketing. And if I can market myself and I'm in marketing, but I'm also marketing someone in construction, it's like those are two different industries. Why am I not adding more to this? Why am I not doing restaurants? Why am I not doing salons?
You mentioned in your case study, 7% of B2B decision makers use social media to research vendors. I'm curious for you, what is the biggest misconception business owners have when creating video content to generate leads in their business?
They think they need to post just before and after pictures / videos. They think that that's what they need to do. So they'll just post either a carousel with a before and after picture, usually not even before pictures, usually just after. Zero in progress. So that is the biggest misconception they have. Another big misconception they have is that they have to post on everything: YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, whatever new stuff they're inventing nowadays. I completely disagree with that. I think you need to choose one. You need to choose that one tactically based on your target audience, where are they at, where are they hanging out at. And then you need to take that, double down on it, triple down on it, just hit it hard every single day, that one platform.
Yeah. The next portion of the case study you have is about lead quality and says, when generating leads on social media, we discovered honesty and transparency are key. It's easy to only look at what works because when you're on the other side of success, it's like, hey, this is what made me successful. But much of social media is trial and error. I mean, you're posting stuff and like you said, with your TikTok experiment, I mean, it was like 60 days gone by of just, constant failure after failure, or at least from an outside view of,
I thought I
200
was
views.
failing.
You thought you were failing.
Yep.
What tests did you run that didn't work? And what are your key takeaways from those failures or those misalignments from after from those misalignments of getting after the lead you wanted to connect with?
Yeah. So biggest failures for lead gen on social media is asking for the sale too early, asking for their money right away. Take her out to dinner before you ask her to come to bed with you. Don't see lead gen and social media as asking people for the money. Lay out an environment where they can bring themselves to that conclusion. Don't try and bring them to the conclusion. Just lay out that format for them to visit your profile, see your options, see your past work, and then they can take the extra option to pursue making a purchase with you and your business. Don't run an ad saying, hey, buy this right now, especially if you're in high ticket sales. Maybe if you're like a restaurant or window tint, you can get away with that. But if your product is over $500, $1,000, you should not be running things to try and get the sale immediately. Just nurture them, bring them in, show them what you got going on.
Aiden, thank you for sharing that. And to dive deeper into this conversation, because I know we've been covering a lot of surface level, let's go in more tactically now. So, someone has set up their social media. You actually have this part of your case study shared as well, which it's very transparent of you. It's the social media growth itself. Can you talk about the metrics to identify and track and label, and the ones that aren't really helpful to measure success from?
Yeah, so that's a great question. KPIs, what is it? Key point indicators,
Performance
key
indicators.
performance
Yep.
indicators. It's just funny because it's different for every business. I think it's one of those terms like work-life balance, I think is similar to key performance indicators, where it's like kind of something that is going to be ever shifting and never really going to be solid with standard operating procedures. You're going to be tracking KPIs differently every month with social media. So if we take an account that has 0 followers, nothing, a business has no social media, we're going to be tracking how are we growing this, and that followers is what we're going to be looking at the first couple months. Like, how are we growing the amount of people in this? And then this is something that can't be tracked by numbers. It's like, these people that are following, are these actually going to be customers, or are these just random accounts? So you can look at views and you can look at followers, but that doesn't matter if the people viewing and following you aren't going to buy your product. So that's something I look at every time I get a follower. I check out their profile and I see, is this person going to engage with my business? And then for the ad level, the KPIs are going to be different depending on what type of campaign you're running. You can run an awareness campaign to show your business to more people in the area. Typically, that will be followed with an engagement campaign where you're going to push them to message you or comment on a post or send it to a friend. And then there's also lead gen campaigns where they're going to either call you or fill out a form. So the KPIs are going to vary with each of these as well.
Yeah. Aiden, thank you for sharing that and really highlighting those different levels of how to target your audience. And obviously, like, don't start with the sale. I mean, I think that's just kind of like a really tacky way of doing business. I mean, people do business with people that they trust and they understand, which is why we love doing the podcast conversations here, because we're all in business in some form or fashion. That's why we like to, talk about our work, but even more so of why it is we live and what we do in our communities as well. When it comes to the different strategies around messaging itself, I know you gave that really good example of not just like cold DMing people like, hey, if you ever need a house cleaner, hit me up. Like,
nope.
Stop doing that.
Nope,
like,
yeah.
Stop sending me cold DMs, please. Stop. But what are some like tactical maybe this is something on the other side of the coin with services that you can get. But I'm thinking of a few examples like a sell by chat process or a way in which you can approach those conversations. What are some tips that you have for folks starting off in the messaging that they need to keep in mind to do as opposed to not to do?
Every tip I give is because I did it the wrong way, probably for a little bit longer than I should have. Then I realized I was doing it wrong. Then I found a way better way to do it. So originally, success doesn't come from motivation because motivation is going to burn out. It's a finite resource. So success comes from consistency. That's what I found with the TikTok. And with cold DMing, I thought I could do the same thing. I think I was doing 5 to 10 a day to the contractors in this area because there's over 1,000 contracting companies.
There's a lot of contractors in 757.
Yeah. So I was sending 5 to 10 cold DMs a day, copy and paste, no effort, just thinking I could do volume and that's going to work. Nope. Got like nothing from that. So I did that for a couple weeks. And then I started, instead of sending this whole long paragraph about what I do, because now I'm a business owner, I'm getting those. So now I see the flip side of it and I'm not going to respond to any of that. But I started sending people when they follow me, I just, all lowercase because it looks more real, just say, thanks for the follow. And I genuinely mean it. And sometimes I'll make a comment about something they're on their profile that I think's cool. For you, it was the podcast. Just, thanks for the follow. That's it. If they want to respond, they can respond. If not, cool. But it's not like being tacky or salesy. So if I have one tip for you, when people are following you on your profile, when you see people who are going to be potential customers, just follow them back, send a message, all lowercase. Hey, thanks for the follow. Check out their profile for a couple of seconds, do some homework, say, hey, I think this is pretty cool. That's it, man. It's easy.
And thank you so much for that. That's very helpful. And if you're getting value from this as well, definitely let us know in the show notes. We love seeing those. For those of you that are commenting throughout our social channels, we appreciate it. This is an active dialogue of how we can better support you and the work that you do here in and around the area. So yeah, let Aiden know, share some love. And this information is very helpful and very, in a lot of ways, simplified because you have, like you said, you've already put in the reps, you've already done the work. For many businesses out there, though, the hurdle isn't always knowing, it's actually how to apply. The information is out there. If there's anything we've noticed from the advancements with AI, I mean, if you Google search how to fix something in your house, you can pretty much find out the solution, in a relatively straightforward approach, and also get pictures and graphs and links and everything. But it's the application part. And especially as business owners, we know that the application part is what we're after. What can clients expect when partnering with you to leverage the case studies you've identified?
So AI, Google, great topic, right? Because you can put into AI right now and avoid hiring me and set up a ad campaign for this with these objectives. The problem is you can also ask AI, tell me how I can improve my run form, or my swimming form. And it'll tell you, but it's not going to sit there with you and say, you're doing that part right, but you need to stretch the leg a little bit longer. You need to tilt your head a little bit farther up. It's not going to walk you along the process. It's not going to help you along the process. And it's based off facts and what's worked in the past, but it doesn't innovate either. So people innovate, people can coach, people can help along the process. That's what I do.
Yeah, no, that's super helpful. So continuing on with that, it's about the application of the information, not just the information itself. So when a client is looking to work with you, what does that day-to-day work process look like for you guys to help identify not only which audience they're trying to connect with, but also some of the services that you offer as well?
Yeah, so day-to-day is very different depending on where we're at in the process. It's usually a 90-day process. Initially from day 0 to day 90. I like operating that. I don't know why. That's what I did with the TikTok. I've just found that 90 days of not just motivation, but consistent effort every single day will result in something. So that's how I set up all my client relationships is 90 days. I can run you through, like, for example, right now, a fab shop here in Virginia Beach that I'm working with. So
yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah. So the initial part of that, shout out to these guys. They're awesome. Just came over, hung out, had a few beers, just talked for a bit about business, shot them a quick video, went home, edited it, went back, showed it to them again. Like, all right, yeah, this will work. So I showed them how to set up an ad. We agreed on a contract, and we've gone from there. So we were running different types of campaigns, testing out different, local areas, testing out a few different factors that I'm not going to disclose, just for their, make sure I'm keeping their business. If
you want to be nosy, just go to Facebook ad library, and you can be nosy all you want. Yes.
Yeah. So they're trying out a few different strategies, lots of different creative for each strategy. And it's just about testing and troubleshooting. That's what I do with the Navy. I test and troubleshoot aircraft, take it block by block, eliminate different variables. It's the same thing with marketing and ads. You take all your variables, you take different combinations, and you see what works, and then you double down on it, and then you innovate, and you make that even better. So that's what we set up in the first 90 days. So we'll be shooting 1, maybe 2 times a week. I'll be setting up the ads at home, changing different stuff, trying different audiences, changing different variables in it. It's just it's a very fluid process, but we're in contact probably on every 1 to 3 days. We're sending texts back and forth, even if that's just us saying like, "Hey, bro, how you doing?"
Yeah.
So
I appreciate you sharing that and being transparent with that as well. Because a lot of times I think too with social media, because it is such a mystery box for business owners, especially the ones we've connected with as well. When they think social media, they think it's going to take them a lot of time away from their schedule. And unfortunately, that, prohibits them from doing that next step of going through those 90 days and testing it. Can you speak to that obstacle or that objection to, I don't necessarily have the time to do this yet, and even more so of how you can unlock certain parts of businesses that wouldn't have originally existed had they not had the presence?
Yeah. Most of my clients, it's not an objection. That's the reason they're getting my service.
They don't have time.
Right.
Yeah.
Either time or knowledge, usually both. They don't have the knowledge. They know they can learn how to do it, but they're not willing to sacrifice the time to learn how to do it. That's completely okay. Like running a business, you guys know it's a lot. So outsourcing something like this is a very smart idea because it's going to have a very large effect on how your business grows. But yeah, if someone says they don't have time for it, I mean, if they don't have time to shoot and they don't have time to talk about ads, then they need to hire someone who I can be in contact with. Like, you have to be somewhat present in that process. You can't just shovel money off and then run away.
Forget it.
Yeah, it's not set it and forget it. This is a process. This isn't just a switch that gets turned on. So the business owner needs to be present and there during that process because they're going to be learning as well. I'm going to be explaining to them everything I'm doing. So realistically, after 3 months, some of them might just turn and burn, teach someone else how to do it. Hopefully not, but
yeah.
Realistically speaking, they're going to be learning right alongside me and seeing exactly what I do.
Aiden, what's your favorite type of campaign to create? And then on the flip side, what's your least favorite type of campaign?
Least favorite, lead gen. Easily.
Lead gen?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because then
that's my favorite.
Then
why is lead gen your least favorite?
Because then you're hooking up CRMs, then you're hooking up websites. You're adding more variables. We talked about variables. I like when there's the least amount of variables because then it is easier to figure out. So lead gen, you're adding, just for you guys who don't know, 3 basic types there's a lot of campaign types. I think there's 6 or 7 total. But just some basic campaign types. Awareness, going to bring people to your profile. Engagement, it's going to have people message or comment on your posts. Lead gen, it's going to get you phone numbers, form fill outs, website visits, etc. So lead gen, you're going to expect people to, hey, let's hope they click on the website. Then let's hope they check out the portfolio. Then let's hope they fill out the form.
Yeah.
Or another problem is if they call you, okay, if you're not during business hours, then you have to set up during business hours, they call me, but after business hours, they fill out the form. But then the form might not be perfect. Or when they call you, you might be on the phone with someone else and then you call them back, but you're not registered business under the national directory and it's an unknown number. They're going to deny there's too many variables.
Sure.
What I found works best is keep it on platform. So they message you, they can fill out the Instagram or Facebook pre-filled out contact forms.
Right.
And then you keep that within Instagram. So with all my new contacts and clients, it's usually through Instagram.
Very cool.
And we keep it all through there. And I'm trying to replicate that for my clients. Problem is some of them don't have time to respond to all these DMs. And that's a problem we're working through as far as, do we want to hire a VA to handle this or what do we want to do? But
yeah,
keeping it on platform has worked 10 times better than trying to hook up CRMs, get phone numbers, get contact forms. It's just worked way better.
Are you still with us? We're about to dive even deeper. So whenever you are doing that type of work with your clients, have you leveraged any kind of like automated tools like ManyChat to like reach out and like connect? Or do you feel like that just like breaks the personal barrier entirely?
It does. It breaks. Also, I'm working with high ticket clients, so they're not getting a lot of volume. It's not necessary. So for example, there's a tint shop in the area that we're probably going to end up working with, and that's going to be volume.
Yeah.
So that may be something we have to introduce. It's just a possibility. Like we were talking about, everyone's a little bit different. Their needs are a little bit different. Right now I work with high ticket clients, so the volume's down, so we have to be very personal with them. Even having a VA on there is not an option.
Yeah.
Like, it needs to be us giving them full attention immediately as soon as that message hits from them. So with volume, we would consider doing automated chats, but right now it's very personal.
Yeah, because that goes back to, and I'm assuming this is what you're looking at as well, is the LTV, the lifetime value of your customers as well. For example, in real estate, someone buys a house every 7 to 10 years. So the quicker turnaround time of like, hey, you just bought, I'm not going to check in every 30 days. Hey, are you ready to sell? You know, on the other side too, it's the cost to acquire the customer. So if you are doing targeted ads, you're paying certain money down. So especially if they're going to spend, $5, 10, 15, $1,000 with you, then you don't want it to be reliant on something as fickle as a machine or as introductory as a conversation with a virtual assistant. Yeah. I'm assuming that's grinds your gears there.
Yeah. So
What about your
Yeah.
favorite campaign? Would you say it's running? And I think you kind of answered this already, but your favorite campaign style, what's that?
Yeah. So I ran this awesome campaign. It was an awareness engagement combo. I ran it in February and I was just a little bored. I was ready to bring on a client or two. And so first I brought them into my profile with the ad you saw, which is like, hey, I'm here. I did it in front of the battleship in downtown Norfolk. I did it by oceanfront, ocean view, just local landmarks in the background, me talking about my business to really stress that fact that, hey, I am 757. I'm not some guy from other side of the country or even the world who's trying to help your business. Like, I'm here. I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to hold your hand if you want. I mean, that'd be kind of weird, but I'll do it.
Yeah. Whatever gets the views, right?
Whatever gets the views. So I'm willing to break these numbers down for you guys. So the awareness part, I spent $156. I had 826 profile visits and I paid 19 cents per profile visit. A majority of those profile visits were from local business owners. Some of them aren't. It's not perfect, but a majority were. And I controlled that, right? I didn't just post something organic, hope for 10,000 views and then 10,000 views, but they're all over in California. They're up in Alaska. I can't help them. I mean, I'm here. So it was local businesses. And then I followed that up with an engagement campaign. All right, cool. All these guys are following me now. They need the confidence to reach out for me. Let me make it easier. So that's what the videos I filmed were directed towards, make them reach out to me. I had $63 spent, $532 per messaging conversation. I had 12 messaging conversations started.
Wow.
Out of those, I think at least one, I think two are going to be clients. One is definitely a client. They've already signed. Second one might be a client as well. So the cost per acquisition, cost to acquire, whatever. People use all different terms for this stuff, man.
How much did it cost you?
Yeah. So very low, but I have gotten that dialed in over the last 6 months. That's not something that happened overnight. I spent hundreds of dollars before I figured that out.
Yeah.
It's not just an overnight solution for anybody. And if anyone promises you that, run the other direction. They promise you exact numbers. If they guarantee, especially if they guarantee you an amount of leads, run the other way. Because this is a process that it takes time to figure out what works. It's that variable elimination. It's that testing and troubleshooting. It's not overnight. So that's why I set up that 90-day window, because I know within 90 days we'll be able to eliminate enough variables to be able to get results that show an ROI, and that an ROI that's attractive enough for them to continue to want to do business with me. But yeah, it's just a great process. Like, it's so challenging to me. I love it. I love being challenged.
Yeah. And thank you for breaking that down for us. I'm curious on a personal level, if you don't mind me asking, how do you balance this and the Navy full time?
Oh, you're missing one.
Yeah.
Business, Navy, family.
Family as well. And you're a family man. Yes.
Yes.
Tell us more. Work-life balance. Yeah. Let's
doesn't
throw
exist.
We'll
It
throw
does
that
not
way. It does not
exist.
exist. Yeah. If it
Work-life
sounds too good to be
flow.
true, it is.
Yeah. So my schedule, any of you military guys know, it changes every single week. Most of the time I work from 2 p.m. until midnight. Come home around midnight, kiss babies, change diapers, and then go to sleep. Get as much as I can, usually 6 to 7 hours. Not good, but we're getting there. Wake up 8 a.m., go do client shoots, meetings, stop by and just hang out with potential clients or existing clients. Go to work at 2 p.m., come home, have lunch, kiss babies, change diapers, grab my lunch, and then go to work at 2 p.m. But that schedule's always changing. Like, I can get heads up and then I have to shift around client stuff, but make sure that it's not overlapping on family time. So I found that time blocking, Google Calendar, and being open and honest with my clients about everything that's going on in my life so that they understand why I have to shift something, if I have to shift it, has led to just zero problems. I mean, you can always get better, but there's going to be problems in every part, but just not letting it affect me.
Wow. Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. That's incredible. As a father myself, as a business owner, I can resonate with all of the parts to juggle. But I like the open and honesty part too, because that was the main driver, the main takeaway from your case study you did was like, the more open and honest you are with your, not just in business but in life, but specifically for your campaign, the more your ad resonated, even though it was an ad. Like, you're scrolling on Instagram, it's an ad, right? But when you're open and honest, that conversion ratio was like I forget this stat, but it was exponentially better, right?
Yeah.
That was the key takeaway.
Yeah.
As we head out of our conversation today, Aiden, I'd love to, roll out the red carpet for you. But before we do, we have to go through some rapid fire questions. So should you accept this challenge, you get to, shout out your company at the end. Is that a challenge you would like to undergo?
Sure.
Alrighty, sir. First question. Favorite city to visit when you're not in Virginia Beach?
Salt Lake City, Utah.
Lovely, lovely. What is it about Utah, Salt Lake City area?
Beautiful. Yes. Great.
Is it the mountains for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to East Coast trees.
Yeah. When it comes to enjoying life here in the Virginia Beach area, there are multiple beaches to pick from. What is your favorite beach to enjoy?
That one that's by the Long Bridge. You guys, oh my God, locals are going to get mad at me right now. I shouldn't know the name of this.
You're talking about the Yeti?
Is that what it's called? I don't know. There's a restaurant right there, and then it's right by, like, you can clearly see that long Chesapeake Bay Bridge. It's on the right-hand side of it. I don't know. There's also the one to the right of Rudy, and that's pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not familiar with the first one.
It's super low key, dude.
I know there's like some super secret beaches.
Did I just drop some sauce on the
podcast?
podcast?
I know 10. I know 10 unique beach experiences. Not the Brock Environmental Center.
No.
That
one's sick though.
That one's cool because Brock Environmental Center has the Yeti. That's the local one that I was told not to say, and it got me banned from Facebook groups.
Okay. Yeah, I might
during the summer.
I might be getting banned
across from Brock Environmental Center.
Chicks Beach.
Chicks Beach. Yeah.
Okay. No, not a big deal.
Chicks Beach. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they don't want to share it though because that's a locals beach.
Yeah.
Like if you can't park there legally without like.
You got to get front lawn.
You got to get kind of flexible or creative on that front. I would say shout out to Freebie, but you're leaving us Freebie, so no shout out for you. Anyways, next question for you, Aiden. When it comes to your personal flavor of social media when you're not working, do you spend time on social media, or do you have a preferred platform you like to go to entertain yourself?
Sure, Instagram, because that's where I do my business. I got to keep an eye on what everyone else is doing.
Sure.
So. Social media doom scrolling is a problem we all have. It's a real addiction.
Yeah.
It's a real problem in our society, especially my personal generation. So making sure I'm not doing that. And it's weird being a part of that industry, but also being aware of that problem and especially the mental health problems that have been caused by that. So I really try and limit my time on there. And then also when I'm creating content for the platform, make sure I'm not being a part of the problem, which is like the dopamine. There is psychology backed creators who use methods to capture people's attention that is not moral, or they know what they're doing, and I think it's a little inherently evil. But I try and limit my amount of time on the platform to stay away from that and that addiction. But at the same time, there's a lot of positive. A lot of people contribute positively. A lot of people generate a lot of revenue from social media. A lot of great business happens on there, and there's a lot of great people on social media. So it's just easy. Everyone here who's watching this podcast has had it happen where you're scrolling and wait a sec, it's been 30 minutes, but I want to keep scrolling. Wait a sec, it's been an hour.
Yeah.
And I got my kids sitting over here. Why am I scrolling on social media when I need to be present right now? So it's just a really real subject that not a lot of people want to open up and talk about.
Yeah.
But it's a real problem.
How do you balance that problem with also creating content for the platform? Because I know you said there are good parts of it as well, but it's like by posting on this, am I just further driving people to be distracted all the time?
Yeah. I used to create content that was retention based.
Sure.
When I was doing TikTok, that's all TikTok is. They reward people who have higher retention bases. I don't create content like that anymore. My content I create for my customers doesn't even get that many views. Probably like, I think the highest viewed video organically was 12,000.
Yeah.
Because I don't create it in a fashion where I'm looking to get views. It's because we want qualified local leads. And so it's just crazy to think about, like, so let's say 200 people, I built up an account to 200 followers. It's getting about 200 views per video organically, but I've done a really good job. It's really efficient. And 200 of those people, at least 10% are qualified buyers for that business. Now you got 20 people. It's like having 20 people sitting in front of you that could buy from your business and getting to talk to them every time you post. So my stuff's not geared for retention.
Because you focus on the microeconomics of things, not the macro, whereas social media, the whole point of social media is the macro. So it sounds like for you, that's kind of how you draw the line of like, well, this is for business. I'm not doing the things that are going to like just be real flashy, click, click, boom, boom. You know, it's straightforward.
Yeah.
It's honest.
Yeah.
It's transparent. Yeah.
Very transparent.
Dude, I want to share you something. So one of the cool things I've done, I actually grayscaled out my phone. So none of the apps show up now. And that has drastically reduced the amount of like aha for me and also around my kids. So I'll pull out my wife has all her colors on. We've tested this and the kids will be naturally more attracted to her phone. But whenever I have the grayscale on, I'll show it to the camera here. They just don't care as much, which is like super interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I kind of see it like when I go to my photos or like YouTube is where I have my watch later list. I don't know. I'm kind of sharing more about how I view social media to help with that. I'm like, here's my list of things I can do. And then I can list it unlimited podcast or unlimited music, you know?
Yeah.
So
I'm going to try that. Another thing I did for a couple, I'm sure we all do the same thing with our email where we get spam emails and there's some days where we just go through and mass unsubscribe.
Dude.
So
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Emails are awful.
I had to create a new account. It was so bad. And then this one's getting bad too. Now I have to. So what I did is use that same theory. And when I would get notifications from apps, I would go into settings and turn off the notification for that until now Instagram's turned off. That's how I make money. Instagram is turned off. Yeah. There's no way to reach me when my phone. The only way you can reach me is if I choose volunteer to go into the app. Their notifications are turned off. So that's another way I've made that block between family time block and business. So I want to be like Kevin Gates, get 2 phones. So that's in the future too.
I love that. Yeah, that's so cool too. Email, I don't even to a fault. And I tell people this, I'm like, I'm not checking my email. Like I had to quit because it was just like, I was like, yep. Well, and Dan from Buy Back Your Time, I forget to let Martell, he said, your email is just a list of things that other people want you to do.
Yep.
So it's like, well, if I'm a business owner, I'm going to do the things that I want to do versus what other people want to do. Now, they're so important, right? Yeah. Got my electric bill on there and all kinds of stuff that I have to do. But, you know, a lot of that is navigation. Next rapid fire question for you. Do the comments ever get to you when people either, have something negative to say about your post or your ad, or someone hits you up in the DMs and like maybe share something that, is positive or negative? How do you view the comments? And
outstanding question. Yeah. So TikTok, with the Instagram, I don't think I've had any hate comments. I don't know. I don't really pay attention. Oh no, I had one from someone who is in an industry that I'm not going to say on the podcast.
So you got a comment from one of your posts about local targeted ads from actually a former military member who is now an adult film actress.
Yes.
Locally here in the area.
Yes.
So like, how do you navigate comments like that?
Being respectful while also deflecting.
Yeah.
That individual didn't.
And it wasn't a solicitation or anything. Yeah, it was just a comment about your ad of like, hey, like basically you don't have enough views, you don't have enough comments. How are you even making money? You know, I have a bunch of followers, so therefore I make lots of money. That's what I read it as. Yeah,
that's how I read it too. So do I spend time commenting? I don't even know if I reply. I probably replied on it. I was pretty heated about that. I remember.
I think you said something respect. I don't know the exact words, but it was just
respectful.
Like, it was just like, hey, thanks for your feedback. This is how I do the ads. I focus on local business,
Yeah. I don't know, but with the TikTok, I got a lot of hate comments, especially on the one where I broke down the costs, because some of them I got pretty good deals. Some of them I kind of forgot, so I made up a number. So it was maybe a little bit inaccurate for 1 or 2 of the things, and I didn't realize that until afterwards. But it wasn't big enough of a problem where I deleted the video, but I think that might have drove some of the views too. Who knows? But the people a few people hate commented. Some of them didn't believe that I was doing the business, which was funny. And then some
those
of them
are always really funny. Yeah.
Yeah. They thought I was an imposter, But then I like had videos of me power wash. It just didn't make sense. And then there was also like talking about the gear. And then there's people hating on the price, how I'm hurting other power washing businesses by having lower prices. I didn't even know how much to charge. I thought I was charging a lot. I was charging a couple $100 per house.
Yeah.
I thought that was a lot of money.
It cost? Yeah. Like $250 or whatever.
I guess no. I guess it's a lot more than that nowadays, but whatever. But
well, JB Spencer, on TikTok, he does his for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's really low anchoring.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, there was a lot of hate comments on that, and I didn't respond to any of them. But then, what was really funny, dude, is when other people started fighting those battles in the comments.
Would they fight for you?
Yeah, they fought for me.
That's
and
cool.
I was like,
that's cool.
Let's go, man.
Because they've watched the videos, right? You can go back and see. So like if there's a trending topic and you click it and you're like, oh, what kind of conversations happen? You're like, oh, I just took the bait. But there's social proof.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to your consistency piece too, where it's like, no, like literally here's 90 days of me posting about this. I'm not just some AI generated ad,
Yeah, but people were like fighting these battles out in the comments. It was like,
dude,
get them, boys.
That's clever.
It was fun.
Clever. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that, Aiden. And you've made it to the end of the rapid fire question section. Congratulations. Now there's only one thing to do, but to roll out the red carpet for you. This camera here, let the people know what you have going on and where they can find you to learn more about everything you have going on in your business, including the link in the description below. Share.
Yeah. Is this Shark Tank? Hello, sharks. No, I'm just kidding.
Drop it in, man.
So I'm located here in the Hampton Roads 757. And I run specifically Instagram and Facebook ads, as well as media for local small businesses. I offer not an off-the-shelf solution. I offer something tailored for the business. And the reason that this is valuable is because there's 1.2 million people in the 1.8 million people in the Hampton Roads. 1.2 million of those people are active Meta users on Facebook or Instagram. Right now, a lot of local businesses, you probably run Google ads, and everyone's doing the same thing. Not only is Google probably going downhill because of AI, but also your ads are way less efficient. You're spending way more. It's an auction. The audience and the data is an auction. So when less people are on Instagram, that means you're going to spend less money. It's going to be more efficient. In addition to that, it's just super underutilized. So you can easily become the best known person on Instagram in this local area in the 757. And one of my lines, my motto is, it's not about being the best. It's about being the best known. So if you're looking to grow that social media following, if you're looking to grow that amount of revenue coming in from Instagram, if you're looking to increase branding, all of these are kind of encompassed in this package of accelerated, strategic, and tactical Instagram growth. So hit me up. I always break down like how I would set up an ad campaign for you, come out, hang out with you. It's not like you got to hit me up and pay me and then we start working. We'll figure out if it's even going to work first, because some businesses it may not work for. So hit me up. Links in the bio. Check it out.
Thanks for your time, Aiden.
Cool.
Appreciate the conversation.
Yeah. Thanks, man.